It's me again, popping up. Right, so I've made sure the vet's not going to ring this time, so that's good. So let's find Rachel, who's our next person. She's here. So I need to send her a invite. Invites, Rachel. My words are going all weird. Oh, Rachel. Hello, lovely.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Yes, I'm fine. I made sure the vet won't ring me now, so we're okay.
Oh, all these things that interrupt technology, they're a nightmare, aren't they?
I know. At least it shows we're live and authentic.
Well,
So
yeah, that's very true.
yeah. So how's your day been?
It's been good, yeah. I've been busy doing lots of things. So yeah, it all feels a bit mad at the minute, like we're trying to fit like the last 18 months into like
Really?
6 weeks. So yeah, now things are picking up a bit. Everything seems a bit manic and busy again, but
Yeah.
it's lovely outside. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Is it sunny up north, love?
Yeah, it's actually quite sunny. Yeah, blue skies, a little bit of cloud, but yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, Cornwall's grey and soggy at the moment. Yeah. Yesterday it was sunny. I even took my jumper off, but yeah.
Yeah, it's actually quite warm today. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so pleased to chat to you because I've sort of known about you and followed you for quite ever since I think Precious began in 2017, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lovely to chat and face to face. It's different than a online conversation. Oh, there we are. It looks fab.
It's really lovely. So anyway, yeah, I just thought, remember I had it in the studio.
Pop it on.
Yeah. So for people that haven't seen your work, you've got a number of pieces in our mixed materials exhibition that's on today, which is today's mixed media. But do you want to chat to us about your pieces for anyone that's not seen it or doesn't know your work?
Yeah, so I'm a mixed material jeweler, so I work with a wide range of materials. So at university I studied a mixed materials course and then did a metal specialism within it. So I've always really enjoyed pushing the boundaries of materials, so seeing what's possible with them. I primarily at the beginning started off as an enameler and then brought other materials into that. But I've always been a bit excited about breaking rules. So I learned to do enameling the proper way. And I think once you have those skills and understanding how to work with material, it's really exciting to go, oh, what would happen if I did this with it? What would happen with that? So that's how my work revolves really. So I use, like I said, a wide range of materials. So for mica, enamel, precious materials, so like silver, also woods, acrylics, plastics. So it's quite playful in a way, and I consider my work as like a 3D sketchbook, if that makes sense. So I don't draw a design out because my work's a lot of components. My workbench or desk is a sketchbook really, so there's lots of things laid out at numerous amounts of time, and I play around in like a 3D design drawing process with them to see how things work together really. And I've over time developed like a bank of materials and a bank of processes, and you become familiar about what works with each other really. Because a lot of people say, oh, you know, do you not get bored, or do you not how do you have a new idea? But there's always something that then inspires the next thing. Things tend to like bounce off each other in a process. So the pieces that are in the current Precious.Collective online exhibition, they're inspired by spring was a season I felt that was like a new starting point after everything that had happened with COVID. I felt like it was a kickstart to really get back into the workshop and make a new collection of work. And my studio is based on a working farm. So there's lots of industrial machinery and sort of surfaces around, and I take quite a lot of inspiration from the textures or the shapes and the colours. So like the light blues and the lilacs, you tend to find like flaking paint or rusting metal, and things like that really intrigue me. So it's that industrial influence with quite bold and energetic shapes where, you know, springs come into life. I felt like it was a rejuvenation of my practice, I think, after quite a hard time that we all had. So
so that's your lovely textures and that come from, if you're on a working farm, all those sort of, because some of your photos, well, lots of your photos, all your photos look beautiful, but there's some lovely textury ones that I often sort of see.
There's lots of lovely like machinery it's either been left or it's weathered over time, so those surfaces and textures are really interesting, and I think they initially inspire things, and the colors reflect it, so it becomes a great prop to photograph on then as well. And it's quite funny, there's a bit of a standing joke in the studio. Everybody tries to guess around the farm where I photograph something. So it's a nice full circle of sort of inspiration, and takes the journey sort of on a full cycle really. And also the fact that with pieces as well, my original inspiration when I first graduated was the Japanese art of ikebana. So that's floral flower arrangement that's done in a certain way. So things are placed in a certain order or a certain position. That means they're visually pleasing, or they catch the eye in a certain way. So that's also very sort of important in my work, about placement and how things look and contrast. And they're mini sculptures really.
It's weird, isn't it? You can sort of put things together and you know that it's not right, and just by moving like a couple of millimeters each way or whatever.
And then sometimes I'll make what I think might look right with something, but then I go actually, and it sits on the desk for a while, and actually it either reinvents itself within another piece, or another day you could come and put it in another position and actually it looks right then.
So you really are sort of queen of mixed materials when you're sort of talking about all the different materials on your desk. And
lots of different materials. So over time I've had to develop sort of the processes in order to join those materials. So I think by having the material knowledge obviously from university and afterwards, I sort of know what's possible in terms of joining, but it's thinking a lot cleverly about cold connections. So I use that a lot in my work. And then with more recent additions, so the current range of like interchangeable earrings, they're all components that slot on and off, but they create multiple combinations, so that obviously the customer can create lots of different pieces in one, but that's also a joining method and a way of putting pieces together that confronts all those different materials really. So I try and use it to an advantage.
So tell us about your studio. Are you there on your own, or are there other people?
I'm based at Unit 12 Gallery in Stafford. So it's run by Jennifer Collier, if you don't know her. She's a paper artist. And there's 5 of us there, so it's a nice joint studio space, which I think is really important to bounce ideas off each other, and just the social side of things really as well. It's really nice.
It must be lovely, because it's sort of, I'm here on my own. Well, I've got 3 dogs, so but, you're sort of here on your own, and it's just, sometimes it's really nice to just be able to chat to another maker. So
I think some days there's like some of us that are in on your own, so you can get your head down and get things done, but sometimes you want to ask someone because you kind of know the answer, but I think it's nice to reaffirm things and talk about just anything within like making and whatever. It's nice to have that sharing sort of idea with other people as well.
Definitely. So have you always made jewelry? Have you always been a jeweler, or have you done other things?
So when my graduate collection was actual conceptual based. So there was a small range of jewellery that went with it, but my final collection was all inspired by Japanese ceremonies, so like tea ceremonies and eating and the way things are done in certain orders. So I created a conceptual body of work that was sushi stations. So it had like utensils and different things to eat with, and they went round in a certain order. So that used a mix of materials, so that's where the love of materials came from really. And then to show some breadth of practice within my final sort of portfolio, I created a small range of jewellery using those materials inspired by, you know, the shapes and forms I'd used within it, really. And then I think after university, I fell in love with the jewellery side of things and more of like body adornment, really. And because I think sometimes I find the word jeweler a bit hard to use, you know, because I don't make things with precious stones and things, but I think, body adornment and jewellery in terms of quite bold and striking pieces is what I fell in love with, and creating brooches and statement wearable art is definitely what has, you know, progressed over my making career so far, really.
So was it more of a fine art degree you did then?
It was called decorative art, so it was quite broad, really. So you could try out lots of different disciplines, you know, ceramics, wood, textiles, and then within your final third year, you wrote your brief, and you just had a self-explanatory project for a year, so you could explore whatever you wanted. So I pushed the boundaries slightly of fine art and decorative art. And just went mad with materials and machinery and everything I could, really. All the things. But I think I always had in mind that I wanted to be a maker and set up as a maker, so it was also important to think about how I could make that sustainable after university. So how could I minimize processes or simplify things down, that I could do it in a small workshop without, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of kit. So
but it's so nice, all that kit, it's so lovely to...
what I'd give to go back and try some things.
One of our curators, Katie's just about to start an MA, I think, at the Royal College, and she's just can't wait till Monday when she goes in and they've got all these sort of facilities that she can use. So
definitely one of those things you miss.
Where did you study? Whereabouts in the country was it?
So Nottingham Trent
University,
I studied, so Midlands.
Oh,
so I've just moved slightly further south now.
And you've just got into Design Nation, haven't you? I'm sure I saw your name there.
I used to be part of it. I used to be part of like Design Factory when it used to be, but I'm not currently part of Design Nation. No.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Me getting confused. I'm sure.
Sometimes they accidentally tag me in things.
But anyway,
don't worry.
But
excitingly though, some pieces that I had in the exhibition with Joanne at Alliages for Painful Hope is now going to, I think it's Madrid. So that's really exciting. Nice. So lots of things happening, and then I've got Great Northern Contemporary Craft Fair coming up soon, so that's in October. So a few more live events happening now, which is nice, because I think especially with mixed material pieces, people need to interact with them in order, you know, to appreciate the materials or the textures. And I think my pieces tend to intrigue people. They cause a conversation that people want to discuss what it's made from or how it's made and things like that. So
well, it's so nice to sort of touch things and be able to hold them and see them for real, how big they are and what they're made of.
I think you don't appreciate things in the same way on a screen, do they? They're flat. And I think especially when people have seen my work in real life, they've gone, oh, it's bigger than I thought, or it's smaller than I thought, or, you know, it's different in a different way because they've not seen the full quality of it in 360 real life. So it's really nice to be back and just have a genuine chat with people about your work. I think it's really nice.
Really, because I was thinking it was Amy Stringer yesterday I was talking to, and she makes work in concrete, and it was just like, I just thought, how do you wear? And she said, oh, it's really, really light. Like, how can concrete be light?
It's fascinating, isn't it? I know me and Amy have been to Sirad in Amsterdam together for a few shows now, and it's always fascinating to hear her talk about it when she's at the show and explaining to people, because people see the same thing. They're like, oh my god, it must be so heavy, but it's not. It's so light. It's really interesting.
I think it's her that's doing Great Northern, the art fair with you. Yeah. So
I think so, yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a few of us there. So it'll be nice. It's nice to always get sort of the comments that it's something different, and that's what I've always aimed for. I like work to be a talking point and stand out, so I think that's what draws people in as well.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find all the Precious members, and you have to take selfies with you all standing.
Yes,
by
little Precious family.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think you'll always be making jewelry? I know you can't really say, but do you think this is what you do?
I think I'll always be a maker. I think I'd like to expand into other things. There's been things in the pipeline and things I've thought about along the way. Because my work's quite sculptural, I've always thought about what if they could be blown up like 100 times.
Wow.
And be like a public art installation or something like that, like interactive art. Or I've also thought about whether the same materials or techniques could be shrunk or applied to other things. So, really interesting door pulls on furniture, or whether they could go into industrial design. I think there's lots of ways things could go, but I'm always kind of the person that, I like to let things naturally progress. But
yeah,
I think jewelry's the main thing. But I think there's lots of different avenues it could end up going. Yeah. Whether that's for a small amount of time or as a change further down the line. Yeah.
It's always so mind-blowing as well. It's just like, oh, I could do this, 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 and this with it. And it's just like, in the end, I just think, you know what, I'm just going back to bed.
Sometimes you have to proper claw the ideas in. You have to go, no, right, stop. Just one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's always the exciting part, to think that it's not a never-ending thing, but there's never feels like there's a barrier. There always feels like the next possibility, or something I've done with a collection, it might not come to fruition to inspire something straight away, but further down the line I might think, well, I did that but it didn't work for that, but actually it could be this. So there's always some sort of little pocket of something waiting to be explored, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, it's like, I'd hate to be making the same thing over and over and over. It would just do my head in.
Yeah, and I think as you develop as a maker, or as I've found through my practice, I think especially if you're slightly more commercial at the beginning, I think you feel like you should make work that people will like, whereas now I make work I want to make, that I like, and I make it because I want to make it, if that makes sense. So I think that's the best feeling you can have, because I enjoy making them so much. You get so much more out of it, I think, as a practice as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a magical thing to be able to, and really special to be in that position where you can just make what you want to make, really. So
and I think because my work straddles both sort of art, jewelry and slightly more commercial, I think I've got the best of both worlds, really, because if I make some really bold statement pieces, they're the ones that I take to an exhibition, or I send for other things, and then the slightly more commercial side is obviously what works for my business. But it's nice to have that sort of straddling both things, really.
Yeah, and great that you love both sides of it as well. So
and I think because the statement pieces are the things I enjoy making the most, their influence slides more into the smaller pieces as well, so they're not any less inspired. They're just obviously probably a smaller scale or a simpler design. So I think that's a really nice way to be able to work as well,
because when you look at the statement pieces and the more commercial, they all work together still, so it's not like you're two different people. So
it's like the smaller pieces influence the bigger pieces and vice versa. They all have a little link between them. So
Oh, thank you so much. It's so lovely chatting to you.
It's really lovely to talk to you as well, and nice to chat to everyone within the community and Precious.Collective Jewelry Week, which is really exciting. So
it's really lovely. So have you got any other words of wisdom or things? Oops. Before we...
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Sorry, it was the vet last time. Now it's my phone telling me it's dying. So, so
That's okay.
yeah, yeah. Anything you want to chat about just before we finish? And
I think just especially like within making, I think I've gone through times where I think you maybe have that thing, you know, where things are like up and down or whatever, but I think just trusting the process, whether that's depending on like the materials you work with or how you make or whatever. I think if you trust the process, everything else sort of looks after itself. And I think they're the most inspiring, that's the most inspiring way of working for me, is trusting the process, and not knowing the end result can be quite scary, but actually I think you get the best out of that.
yeah, it is really scary, isn't it? It's so hard. That moment where you've sort of made stuff before and then you come to make some new stuff and think, I can never make things as good ever again. And then just plowing through that sort of that terrible time of making and coming out the other end. It's like,
yeah, that's the fruitful part of it.
Yeah, it's hard being a maker, people.
Yeah, it is.
Not all sit in lovely, beautiful studios, you know. Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. That is absolutely lovely.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely to talk to you as well.
Yes, yes, and enjoy the rest of the jewelry week.
Thank you.
So, and I think we've got Spam Glam coming back at 4 o'clock with another last minute interview. So that'll be lovely.
Very exciting.
That on Instagram now. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you everybody for popping in and watching, and we'll see you at 4 o'clock UK time. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye. See you, lovely. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.